Alright, so here it is. I said I was going to do this video, and here it is. By the way, good morning. I'm Ben from I'm Not Licensed, and I kind of tend to have my voice down just a little bit, only because my girlfriend's troll of a son seems to like to look out his window and probably try to listen to the things that I say to see if I'm saying anything about him so that he can report them back to his mom, like he does with my Snapchat, where he trolls my Snapchat and then he goes back to her and says, "Can you believe what Ben said? Oh, Ben said this and Ben said that. And he's putting your guys' relationship out there on social media." See, that's the problem nowadays with people that don't understand how life really works, how relationships work, the dynamics of a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, whatever. They're kids, they have no clue, they don't have any idea as far as to how life works, and they just talk out of their ass because they only have one side of the story. Mostly because I know how it is. He's just, he doesn't like to be told that he's lazy. He doesn't like to be told that he's unmotivated. Doesn't like to be told, anything outside of tell me about sports and tell me about sci-fi. And tell me what it's like to be a 17-year-old where you just have to do jack shit all day long. That's all he wants to do. That's all he wants to talk about. So, enter me, a normal man, raised a kid already, turned out to be a wonderful kid, and she's more than responsible. I mean, I feel like I'm more than responsible on most days, and, some days I'm less responsible than others, but I understand that shit's got to get done. And if I don't do it around the house, then my girlfriend has to do it when she comes home. And it's not fair to her after she's been out working all day long. I mean, I work too, but I don't feel like I work nearly as hard. So it goes back to that honey-do list, right, that I did on the last video in regards to is the honey-do list really fair? It's not. But anyways, that's moving on from that. So the video today is about how long do you wait? How long do you put up with it? How long do you stay in a relationship? What is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking to gain? Are you looking for this person to just wake up one day and just have this revelation? I think it was in the movie Splash, where she wakes up after falling over the cruise ship and then she has amnesia, so she doesn't remember her life. And so she has to be retrained all over again. Are we waiting for our partners to, change? Are we looking for our partners to not change? How long do you give that partner time to change? Do you even want them to change? Or are you just happy with just saying, hey, you know what? You do you, I'll do me, we'll meet in the middle. Sometimes we're going to agree to disagree, and sometimes we're not, And with that right there, hold on, let me grab this thing. There we go. With that, you kind of you put a timeline on things, right? Some people have it easy. Some people have it really, really fucking easy, right? So my therapist friend, who is licensed, she's got it really easy. I think mostly because she already deals with people's brains, so she already kind of understands how the mind works, and she's seen so many people, she's heard so many stories, she understands so much about what goes on up in the brain that she gets it, right? So she has the ability to just cut somebody right out of her life, no problem, as if they never existed to begin with. I've got other friends that are capable of doing that. Me personally, I've never really truly been that guy. Some days it feels like I just despise people so much, and it's just, there's so many shitty people in the world, whether they're in your inner circle, whether on the outskirts of your circle, or whatever the case is, wherever they are in the world, they exist, and they just drain society, right? And it's just, it frustrates you to the ends of the earth. But when it comes to a relationship, right? So how long do you give? Do you like put a definitive number on like a relationship, and you say, well, you know what, look, if I'm not happy, if I can't wake up on day whatever the day is, let's just say October 1st, if I can't wake up on October 1st and just be happy with the person that I'm with and have like a good day throughout the entire day to carry on to the next day and the next day and the next day, then I've just got to leave. I've got to cut that tie, and I've got to go. And so it's like it just really truly makes you wonder, what is it? Like, does it come down to a time frame, or is it each person individually? Like, what is it that makes you put that timeline on there? So me personally, I believe that my timeline is, as soon as this kid decides he's not going to go away to college, that's my timeline. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and watch her raise a man-child. I have a roommate that already is one. I don't really want to have to go back to that life, but I mean, I can, and I will if I have to. Go do my thing, he does his thing, just pay the rent, pay the bills and whatnot, and then just live your life, right? It kind of sucks, because with that in mind, it's like, what are you doing? Are you looking forward to the future, or are you looking forward to the end? Which one is it? Are you looking forward to trying to grow a life with this person, and then like you put more time and more effort into this person and into this relationship, and then at the end of that relationship and that time frame comes around, and then you end up having to cut ties because of some outside influence? I'm not going to live in a house where there's just some man-child that doesn't have any motivation. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't care. At 49 years old, I can sit in front of the TV and play PlayStation all day if I want to. But guess what? I also can go out and walk 4 dogs. I can do the yard work. I can change a toilet seat. I can replace the flagpole. I can vacuum the floor. I can take out the trash. I can take out the recycles. I can do the dishes. I can do all that shit before I decide to sit my lazy ass down in front of the TV and play PlayStation for the rest of the day, or watch YouTube videos or whatnot, right? That's the difference, I believe, with people that are in my generation versus people that are in the younger generation. The people in the younger generation have no problems with just sitting in front of this fucking phone and just watching brain-deadening videos, or whether they're podcasts or whatever. It's like, you want to be an armchair podcaster, you want to sit there and listen to somebody else's podcast and then like chime in and be like, oh, well, Steph Curry this, or Tom Brady this, or Brett Favre that. Like, I guess in the same token, I could say the same thing for me, right? You get people that are watching my videos, listening, and going, man, you know what? This dude makes a lot of fucking sense, because I'm kind of dealing with the same fucking thing in my life, right? And he makes some sense, and this is an outside sense, so maybe it's just not an isolated incident where it's just me in my life, Fucking dogs, man. I swear, I took them for a long walk, but there's 2 males in the house. I got to keep them separated, so I bring one outside with me, and then the female that's his partner in crime, she's just obviously a loudmouth. But anyways, going back to the video, right? So, you put it into perspective and reality, and say to yourself, like, how long do you give yourself? Apparently my ex-wife gave it 18 years, and then did she just decide one day that she was just done? I don't know. I mean, I think she had tried to divorce me a couple times prior to that, but then what was it? Was it me that just kissed and made up, and then she was just like, oh, okay, I'll take you back and we'll just rework on it? Or was she staying because of the kid? Was I staying because of the kid? Was I staying because it was just comfortable? Was she staying because it was comfortable? Like, all these variables that come into it. And then now here it is, we spend 18 years of our lives together, and then there's nothing at the end of the tunnel. It's nothing. It's like the old, Wile E. Coyote and the and the Roadrunner videos, you just run into a rock, there's nothing there. Like it looks like there's something there, it looks like there's a tunnel there, like you could go through it, but there's not. So you get to the end of 18 years and then you're like, well, fuck, now what? What did I do with myself? You know, I mean, granted, we've been divorced for a few years now, so, you know, I wasn't 49 then, but I mean, you get to almost 50 years old, and then you start wondering to yourself, like, fuck, I gotta do this all over again? I mean, you know, and you don't have to. Like, I didn't have to. I mean, I stayed single for a few years, you know, dated here and there periodically, you know, jumped into the dating pool, jumped out, dipped my toe in, whatever, you know, you're just looking to have some fun, somebody to hang out with, somebody to do something with, and maybe even, you know, play with some boobs or whatever. But, you know, at the end of that, you're just kind of like, now what? I got to do this all over again. So then, you know, you get into where you're almost 50 now, and then, you know, you start seeing somebody and you start spending some time with that person, you start investing your life with that person, and you realize that person, it's like, it's almost as if that person isn't good for you, but you see the good qualities in that person, if that makes any sense. Again, that's probably why I'm not licensed, why other people are, right? So when you look at it like that, so the reason I say that is because she's got such good quality. There are a lot of really good qualities. She's funny, she's a ball buster, she's responsible, she's got her shit together, you know, she cooks, she cleans, you know, she's accommodating, you know, there's a lot of things that she really truly is. But then there's also those things where it's like, you know, when you try to explain to this person, like, why do you go into work 30 to 45 minutes early every single day? That company doesn't give a shit about you, and you don't make any more money. They've already told you that they don't give a shit about you and that you don't make any more money. So if you don't put an extra 5 hours on your paycheck because you get paid salary, why don't you just roll in 5 minutes before 8 o'clock and punch the clock like everybody else and leave at 5 o'clock? And like I told her last night, I think she just likes the attention. She works with a bunch of guys. I think she likes the attention. Most of her relationships have come from working with people that, or most of her relationships have come from work relationships. I mean, it seems like the natural progression, right? You spend so much time with somebody, and then so the natural progression would be to start dating, you know, but you got to pick one, you know, and there's not a lot of options at this particular office. Sorry, I gotta have some Monster. Bear with me. So, you know, when it comes to having an opinion, like that's one of the things that sparked this whole thing, right? Yesterday we were having a conversation and we were talking about that exact thing, right? So it pisses me off in the mornings when you want to run off at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it doesn't even have anything to do with like laying in bed with me, having sex with me, you know, any of that. It has to do with taking like your own life back, right? Take your own life back. If you want to go for a walk at 5 o'clock and you don't get up at 5 o'clock, but you get up at say 5:30, well, you can still put your tennis shoes on and go for a walk and spend 30 to 45 minutes out walking, be back in time, take a shower, make yourself some breakfast, make yourself some lunch, put the dishes away, do whatever it is that you want to do in the morning. She's got this huge ritual of putting all these creams and ointments on her skin, which she's got great skin, don't get me wrong, but you know, she's got this long process that she goes through in the mornings. But she does it so that she can be done at 7 o'clock, so she can be gone by 7:05, so that she can be at work by 7:20, 7:30 at the earliest, or at the latest. And it's like, why? They don't care. They've already told you. They've told you in not so many words. They don't care about you. They don't care about your opinion. They don't care that you're interested in trying to take the company in the proper direction. They don't care that you point out the shortcomings of the people that you work with. And with evidence, they just don't care. So why continue to give to somebody that doesn't care? And I use the example of a relationship. I said, if I just sat back every single day, put my feet up on the couch, watch TV all day long, play PlayStation, watch YouTube, whatever, excuse me, didn't do anything to help you in any way, shape, or form, how long would that relationship last? how long would you put up with it? I mean, I wouldn't put up with it. I mean, then again, I'm from the generation that wouldn't do that to my partner. Even during my marriage, you know, I took advantage of my ex-wife, not gonna lie. I mean, I took her for granted, the fact that she did a lot of the stuff for me. You know, she was a lot of times both of the parents. You know, she followed up with the school and she did all the school stuff and she did this and that and the other thing. And you know, when I was drinking, it was even worse. Like, she did a lot. She carried a lot of our family at the time, and for that, I'm very appreciative of that. However, over time, I've learned that, hey, you know what? That's not the right thing. So I came into this relationship with an entirely different mindset, saying to myself, I don't want to be that same person again. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to not kick my feet up every day. But in the same token, I feel like I should also have a voice. My voice should be like, hey, by the way, I shouldn't be the only one that has to do this stuff. You have a 17-year-old kid. He's not handicapped. He can walk just fine. Both his hands work just fine because he feeds his face all day, every day. So there's nothing wrong with them. So why can't you make him do things? Her response is, they didn't ask to be brought into this world. So therefore, it's my responsibility to carry them through life. Okay. So we've had this discussion multiple times, you know, and it's always the same response, and it's always the same resolution. And then, you know, us as humans, like, we say things like, oh, it doesn't matter, I don't care, things like that. But the reality is it does matter, and we do care. We just say those things as like maybe deflection or defense mechanisms. Again, there's non-licensed, so don't take this shit to the bank. But, you know, we say these things because, you know, we're trying to deflect the pain away from us. When somebody tells us something that's derogatory or that's negative that we don't really like, we try to deflect it so that it doesn't hurt as much as it does. Okay, so, you know, when you have an opinion about something like that, you know, and you voice that opinion, and then that person comes back and just basically says, hey, listen, I don't really care to hear your opinion. I don't care to hear what you have to say. I mean, I'm going to do things the way I want to do things. And you're like, okay. So again, it goes back to, how long do you wait? You know, how long do you wait for that person to roll over one day and realize that you're not there? Whether it's me or somebody else, you know, whether it's you and your partner or whatever, you know. So we have this conversation last night. Fall asleep. She falls asleep. She gets pissed off, rolls over, falls asleep. Okay, fine. I roll over, finally go to sleep, and wakes up. No joke, it's like 2:30 in the morning. I don't know where this came from, but she wants to talk at 2:30 in the morning. So I'm like, okay. And so I just calmly unlace the gloves and take them off and let her have it, you know. And I mean, I'm assuming, based on her response this morning as she left for work, it's probably not a good one. We were supposed to go paddleboarding on Sunday, which is something that she wanted to do, and I was more than happy to do it, and I would like to do it as well. Well, now she doesn't want to paddleboard on Sunday. You know, she's been asking this kid, oh, well, you know, when does the college do tours, and have you found out when your orientation is for high school? And the answer is always the same thing: no, I don't know. Well, I'm here to tell you, a quick Google search found out that you can do virtual tours to the college, and he had no idea, because I asked him this morning. He just doesn't want to do it. I don't think he wants to leave mom, because he doesn't know how to survive in life. He certainly doesn't want to have to do it himself. I asked him about his high school thing. Or I didn't ask him about his high school thing, I'm sorry. She asked him about his high school thing, because the daughter's school called yesterday and said they gave the orientation time frames. Again, quick Google search this morning, 5 minutes, had the answer, screenshot, sent it to her. Again, this kid doesn't do jack shit all day long. He walks one of the 4 dogs around the block, and he feeds himself all day long. That's the extent of his responsibilities. She doesn't ask him to do jack shit. He doesn't volunteer to do jack shit. So why in the fuck don't you have 5 minutes to do something that your mom has asked you to do? And again, it goes back to that whole, like, how long do you wait? How long do you sit there and you continuously tell your partner, your kid's fucking lazy and you're enabling him? Your kid needs help, you're enabling him. Your kid, again, like, I'm unlicensed, so it's not like my word means anything outside of just having an opinion, and a negative opinion, of course, because everything that comes out of my mouth is negative. Like, I don't have anything positive to say. No, ever. So, again, like, how long do you wait? How much effort do you put into something? Like, how much time do you give a job before you decide to quit? I feel like every day, is today the day? I almost feel like a marked man. Like, is today the day? Is today the day that she's just like, just leave. Just leave and leave me to my kids so that I can tend to my kids in my house and I can go back to being the home slave that they expect me to be and that I choose to be on a regular basis. And then I also think to myself, is today the day that I just put the few things that I do have in my car and just drive away? Or do I have that definitive date to say, let's just try to just ride it out. Let's try to ride it out. I mean, who's to say that middle of the year next year he doesn't have his commitment paperwork for the college and he's got all of his shit in line and he's got all this and that and the other thing and he's visited the campus and he knows where everything is and he's going to do this and he's going to, and he's actually going to go away and be a college student, a live away college student. Like, these are all things that we really wish we had a crystal ball for. Like, I wish I had a crystal ball for some of this stuff, because who wants to make a decision and then regret it, right? I don't live for regret. I don't know anybody that does. I don't know anybody that chooses to go make these decisions and say, oh man, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, but whatever, and then they're back doing it again. I don't. I really don't. Not on purpose, at least. I mean, do people do it unbeknownst to them? Sure. Do you have a specific type of person that you constantly are attracted to, and that person or that type of person takes you down the wrong road? Yes, of course. Is it like something that you don't seek out, but it just seems to happen, coincidence? The way that the universe aligns, I don't know how you want to word it, but like, is there that? What is it that drives us to people that don't seem to care? And then furthermore, what is it about us that thinks that we're any different than anybody else, and that's going to change? That person is going to wake up one day and just say, you know what? I don't agree with everything that you say. I didn't agree with everything that you said. I'm not conceding this as a loss, but I am looking at things from an objective standpoint. Objective, yes. I don't know. I've never had anybody do that for me or to me. I've never had anybody just say, hey, you know what, let's talk about something. Oh, by the way, yeah, I think that you made a lot of sense. Some stuff was bullshit, some stuff was really good, and although I don't agree with everything, I do see that there could be a problem. I do it. I currently do it as of right now, right? I'm like, look, I'm not the greatest of communicators. I'm not this fucking guy that's just gonna pat you on the ass and tell you everything is gonna be okay. Like, it's just not in my nature. It's really, really fucking not, if you have a penis, if you were born with a penis, I believe that you should be treated a specific way in regards to, like, you know, knowing how to do things, how to fill up a lawnmower, how to mow the lawn, how to edge the lawn, how to take out the trash, how to just do everything domestically around the house that a woman does. But ultimately, I also believe that you should be taught that you have an expectation of life within you as a man in society, and these things are things that you should really take into consideration. If you are a son of a single mother, then you should really want to be the man of the house and help that woman to, you know, not have to constantly bust her ass to make the house work. Unfortunately, the new generation, these fucking kids, they're so fucking lazy. They have absolutely no drive. They have no desire, and they just don't give a shit. So then you get the parents that just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to give a shit either. I'm just going to give. I'm going to lay my head down at night. I'm going to fall asleep, whether it's in the couch or whether it's on the bed. I'm going to fall asleep, and then I'm just going to wash, rinse, repeat like Groundhog Day every single day, because I don't see an end in sight. I don't know how to fix this. And the only way that you can fix it is you've got to stand up on your own 2 feet and say, I'm not going to allow this behavior anymore. I've been at this for now almost a year, and you would think, just throwing this out there, don't have to listen to me. I'm not your dad. I'm not licensed. I'm not any of these things outside of just a guy that just gets shit done. But you would think that with the amount of times that I have mowed, edged, vacuumed, put the dishes away, done this, done that, taken all 4 dogs for a walk throughout the course of a day, that the one person that would sit back would be the other responsible adult in the household and say, you know, Ben, you are doing quite a bit of stuff. Why don't I start putting some of this stuff off on my kids? But when that partner thinks to themselves and has already basically told themselves that my kids didn't ask to be here, so I have to just drag them through life and take care of them until they decide that they want to move on, that will never happen, which is pretty bad. It really is. And it sucks because, you know, there's a lot of really good people out there in the world that are going to go without the ability to be loved and have people to spend their time with, because they're too busy focusing on negative energy drains. So, again, I ask you, how long do you give it? Is it a definitive number of days, weeks, months, years? Is it just like a, hey, one day I'm just going to wake up? And I mean, that could be me too. One day I'm just going to wake up and say, fuck this. I'm done with it. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of, you know, I'm tired of walking around the house, watching this kid just slink around the house and do absolutely jack shit. And then when I go off to work and I'm texting back and forth with mom and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And she says, cleaning. Why? I mean, it's fucking mind-blowing. So, I guess we'll see. I guess I don't have an answer to my own question. But I'd be curious to know yours. So, if you got one, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever, you know, all those descriptive words that people put on YouTube. I appreciate y'all listening for 30 minutes now. I'm going to go swap out a couple dogs. I'm going to vacuum the house because I was told that I forgot to vacuum the house yesterday because I opened my big fat mouth and offered to do it instead of her saying, oh, you know what, I'll just have the kid do it. No, you're going to hold my feet to the fire, which is fine. I'm a big boy. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But anyways, I'm going to go vacuum, and then I'm going to take a shower because it's hotter than shit here in Florida. And then I got work to do. So I appreciate you all for the last 30 minutes. Thank you for your time. This is Ben with I'm Not Licensed. And remember, tell somebody you love them.